What's up, everybody? Dave here, and last Thursday we had something really cool happen, which was that Todd Midget advanced to Diamond in his third business center. And we took a little time yesterday, celebrated that, and we had a couple of people who had some questions. Okay, what's this multiple business center thing about? Why is that important? How does it help me make money? Why is that something I should really be shooting for? So I want to just kind of start by saying, if you're kind of new, don't get overwhelmed by this. This is down the road, okay? But if you're currently like a diamond coach and you've got a couple of coaches who are, striving towards diamond, this is something that should be on your radar screen. I just want to take a couple of minutes and explain some of the basics about why this is really one of the most advantageous things you can do in order to push your paycheck up. So first of all, let's talk about what a 2-star diamond is. A 2-star diamond is you as a diamond, right? So diamond. Hopefully you can see all that. And you have personally sponsored 2 other diamonds, okay? Personally sponsored. So if these diamonds in your downline are sponsored by somebody else, they don't count towards your rank, okay? But once you personally sponsor 2 diamonds and you're a diamond as well, you go into a 6-week qualification period. If everybody holds their rank for that 6-week period, you then become a 2-star diamond. When you become a 2-star diamond, you can open a second business center, okay? So I want to just kind of map that out for you and then give you kind of the numbers and the math on how this whole thing works. So, I could map out your whole organization here and this board would get super, super messy. It doesn't look like this, right? It's you and the first 2 people you sponsor as a diamond, right? There's going to be like a coach and then maybe like an emerald and, a bunch of other people who aren't sponsored to you, right? But let's just kind of pop this in here right now as your diamond here. That's an A. And, we kind of have the same thing over here, right? It might be an emerald, could be a coach, who knows, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of other people, and more likely than not, one of your legs is being built with somebody else. That's how we tell people to build. Build one leg with the team, one leg you build on your own. So let's assume that this is the leg you're building on your own, and this is the leg that builds it with your team. So again, you got a whole bunch of other people, but just for purposes of this, we have your diamond. Right? And again, these are personally sponsored people, not sponsored by somebody else, people you have brought into the business. So again, let's assume this is kind of the runaway leg and it's just kind of jamming and there's all these people above you who are putting coaches in here and this thing's just kind of growing on its own. You should be able to tell which one of the legs that is. If you're confused about that, you can talk to your sponsor, but if you're really taking time to watch this video, you've already understood this, all right? So let's focus on this leg here. All right, so you have personally sponsored your 2 diamond coaches. You've gone through your 6-week qualification period. Well, what's probably happening for you, if you're like most people, and everybody's a little bit different, and Jen Thatcher, I'm more than happy to get on the phone with you. She's the one who asked me to talk about this. But what's happening over here is this leg, because other people are building on it, has more volume than this leg. That's not always true. Sometimes you get a super duper rock star. This diamond coach here might just be absolutely killing it. And that scenario is different. So again, you got to kind of just take these things case by case. But this is usually what happens. So that's what I want to talk about is kind of the usual scenario. So what I would do in this situation is when I got to 2-star diamond, I would put my next business right here, right? Me, number 2. Maybe, well, that is messy. Maybe you. Let's write you, number 2, okay? So you put your second business center here. Why? Because now you can take sales that were coming up here and you can put them here. Now why is that a good thing? Well, it's a great thing for these people because you're probably pretty productive. You probably generate a lot of sales. And so you're creating a bunch of volume that helps all your people, but guess who else is up here? You, all right? So if you then, let's say you make a Shakeology sale, right? So Shakeology sales, we know, gets you 2 things. One is about a $30 commission, right? And 2, it creates 90 points of volume, of team volume, sorry, that should be TV, of team volume that then goes up to everybody above you. Well, when you were doing that here, you were getting the $30 still, but the 90 points of volume was going to people above you because that's how the system works. Now, when you get this business center and you make a Shakeology sale, you still get the $30. But now that 90 points of team volume is not just rolling up to people above you, but it's rolling up to you. So you're helping all these people, which is cool and great, and that's how we build a team. But you're also getting to take advantage of that when it comes time for your team cycle bonus. Again, if you're new, don't stress out. This is not that complicated. So here's what Todd did. Todd took this U number 2, right, and he made it into a 2-star diamond. And then he opened U number 3, which is the one that just advanced to diamond. What's that mean? It means he can take, now there's going to be, because this all takes time, right? This isn't exactly how it looks. There's a whole bunch of people in between these 2 business centers, because that's the way things are. It takes time. But now you take these sales and you put them here. What's that mean? Well, every time there's a Shakeology sale, we have our $30 retail commission and we have 90 points of team volume. What happens with that team volume now? Well, now, instead of when it was up here, just going up above you, now this business center gets to cycle off of that 90 points of team volume, and this business center gets to cycle off of that 90 points of team volume. What does that mean? It means you make way more money off of every sale of your own. All right? So you don't just make $30 anymore, right? This business center gets to participate in the team cycle bonus, and this business center gets to participate in the team cycle bonus. There are an awful lot of people who have done really, really well in this business who believe, and you don't hear about them a lot because they're not 15-star diamonds, because what they do is they build this to 5-star, they build this to 5-star, and they build this to 5-star, and they spread those diamonds out over 3 different business centers stacked like this and take advantage of all that volume that rolls up from this bottom guy. Now, of course, if you built all 3 of these to 5-star, what would this one be? Well, it would be at least a 2-star, which means you'd have U number 4. So hopefully you can see how when you stack these business centers like that and you make a Shakeology sale, you benefit way more than you would with $30 with just the $30 retail commission, which you still get. You don't forfeit that at all. It's just now you're creating volume for yourself. And if you're able to do that multiple times, that's where the magic happens. Okay, so instead of making $30 on a Shakeology sale, you make 50 or 60 because you're stacking these business centers with all this volume. The other thing that happens is all these people, because again, it doesn't look like this, right? There's a lot of people in between these different business centers because it takes time to get to 2-star because you got to personally sponsor 2 diamonds. So because they're stacked like this, there's all these people in between you who are on the team who are then benefiting from this volume as well. Nothing will make your team more productive than when they see volume coming from you that goes up to them. All right? So that is kind of the concept of stacking business centers and why 2-star diamond is important. Again, I don't want to confuse anybody with the math. I don't want you to get all wrapped up in this stuff and get too confused, particularly if you're new. If you're new, your first goal should be to get to Diamond Coach. Once you get to Diamond Coach, it's about finding those 2 people who then you can help get to Diamond and you can help grow their business. And once you do, it's time to open that second business center. When you do it, this is how I recommend you do it, and that's why I recommend you do it that way. If you have questions about that, post a comment below and I will answer them for you.